Alright, so I hope you're sitting comfortably because this is going to be a bit of a long one, and I ranted about this on stream last night, so if you don't already have me on Twitch, then please do follow me for notifications and stuff when I do start streaming. I try to do it every couple nights a week. But anyway, let's talk some seriousness, okay? So Konami have just released a adjustment list, you could call it, right? And there's so much to say, right? But when someone first linked me this, I thought it was a joke because I thought it was just a really well done troll. Because when you go here, what you find is that the list is the same and nothing's changed, and we're still where we were like 3 months ago. And then to do this is like so strange because it's like, why are they releasing a list without making it official? Almost like it's really weird, but it is official. But because you could use it at YCS's, regionals, and UDS's and invitationals, but not locals. So that's what they've done. They've given us a list that doesn't need to be used at locals. For what reason, I don't know, but we'll get into that. So the first thought I had, first impression is, why the hell do we have an emergency ban list 2 weeks into this set's life? It's been 18 days and Konami have decided to release a ban list. Not even a ban list, right? But it is a ban list, right? Let's not beat around the bush here. For lack of a better word, for saving time, for not insulting us as players, this is a ban list, and this is an emergency ban list, and this is a ban list like any other, and any self-respecting locals and player will be using this list, not what's on the official website, because we obviously are competitive players. We want to get better at this game, want to enjoy this game, want to be the best that ever was, to train them as my cause, etc, etc, and we're going to use this list. That's just how it is. Now, I'm just so confused because okay, I'm not confused because the reality of the matter is, like, I don't expect anything less from this company. But let's not go into that. Yeah, so they've banned 3 cards and limited 3 cards. It's an emergency ban list, okay? And that is crazy. That's crazy. We haven't had an emergency ban list in so long. Things haven't been emergency banned for ages. And it's like, for what reason are you giving us an emergency ban list when you yourselves as a company have never, like, really done this? But there's been like one emergency ban list ever. It was like Gateway. You know what I mean? Dragon Rulers were the most destructive deck in the history of this game, and you did nothing to them for 6 months. 6 months nobody did anything to Dragon Rulers. And then even then, it was still another 6 months where you banned and limited so much shit, and yet, like, it didn't change anything because they were still the best deck. So we had a year of Dragon Rulers, we had like 10 months of Necros. You guys didn't do anything, and yet we have this deck which is really, really strong. Pepe is really, really strong, but it's not like Necros level in terms of its context of how it dominated. It's definitely nowhere near Dragon Ruler level in the way it dominated. This deck gets beaten sometimes. Like, Mermels can beat this deck. Cosmo can beat this deck. Monarchs especially can beat this deck. And your emergency banning list? Like, it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Now, what I don't like, first of all, I knew something was wrong months ago when they said that they don't want to have set ban lists anymore. We're not following set schedules. What we're going to do is we're going to, like, hit things as they become a problem. So they say this here, we constantly monitor decks, blah blah blah. They did say something about here, we don't want to perform a knee-jerk reaction. Yeah, so what we're going to do is implement a new idea called the adjusted list. Okay, they said, I don't know, they said it somewhere, right, where basically they're going to hit things as they become a problem, rather than have set schedules where they let everything run rampant for like months at a time, like Dragon Rules, and then decide like, okay, well, we did schedule a ban list 6 months from today. So we're just gonna let them shit everywhere for 6 months, and then we'll deal with them after 6 months. Now, clearly, the issue that I have, first of all, is I don't like this idea of adjusted ban list, because you're like adjusting the ban list for us players, and that could totally mess with our wallets. This is the issue. This is money. A lot of us bought Necros, and we spent a lot of money on Necros, and we played that deck for almost a whole year, and we got a whole year out of entertainment. So if you play like £250 for a Necros deck, you know, that's like max rarity. £250 a Necros deck, main deck extra inside, for £250 for 10 months of your hobby that you play like every week, twice a week, maybe even every night online. Like, that is your hobby. You like, that's a good price for 10 months, okay? And then you drop the same amount of money on this deck, and you hit it after 2 weeks. 18 days. 18 days. I've had friends on come downs longer than this deck's lifespan. Do you know what I mean? This is crazy. Like, now I'm not just saying this because I'm salty, because I spent £200 on this deck and I bought it 2 days ago, 3 days, 4 days ago now, and I'm upset because I am, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, like, let's be realistic here. I'm in the same position as hundreds of other people who dropped a bomb on this deck thinking it was gonna last so long. I know your probably response to that would be like, well, Nadir, why did you spend so much money if you can't afford it? I can't afford this deck, but I can't afford a deck every 2 weeks, every 18 days. I will buy this deck and I will play it for 6 months, because that's a good deal in my eyes. I will spend my money on that, but I won't buy the best deck for it to last 18 days and then Konami make me buy another deck 18 days later, and then who's to say it won't get, something else won't get hit? What if Mermails suddenly like become the best deck now, and it's just crazy. Like, I spent so much money for nothing. Like, I bought it, like, I haven't even been to a tournament yet. I haven't even been to like an event yet, and I've wasted so much money. It's not fair. It's not fair. But my personal sad sob story aside, let's talk about it objectively, okay? Now, you hit 3 cards, you banned 3 cards, and you limited 3 cards in the space of 18 days. That's an emergency ban list. Don't call it an adjusted ban list. Don't insult us as players. Now, the issue I have is, really, why do we have a ban list? Let's ask that question. Why do we have a ban list? And this discussion that I'm having today is more than just about the ban list. It's more than just about Plushfire got banned, Juggle got banned. No, this is a bigger topic. This opens up a can of worms. This issue has been boiling up for years. This issue has been boiling up, and that comes down to the issue of power creep. Because why do we have a ban list? We have a ban list to make sure that everything stays fair and balanced, right? But really ask yourself, why do we need a ban list in the first place? Here is a good analogy, okay? Let's say we have a breakout epidemic of everyone in the streets of Glasgow. They just start drinking bleach. You know? They go into their kitchen cupboard and they take a gallon of bleach and they start drinking it. And then we have people campaigning saying that we need to cure bleach drinking. We need to have more nurses and hospitals and emergency centers and stuff for people who drink bleach to get treatment. And then we have government lobbyists implementing policy that help cure people from drinking bleach. And then we have surgeons and hospitals set up that are specifically designed to help people recover from drinking bleach. We have all this argument and debate over drinking bleach. Just take that as an example, okay? Now I'm gonna ask you, what would be the best solution to everyone drinking bleach? Here's a good idea. Don't drink bleach in the first place. How does that sound? You know the old saying, prevention is better than cure? Let's use that in Yu-Gi-Oh! Why are you designing broken cards and then banning 20 cards like in Dragon Rulers, and then banning 3 cards 2 weeks after a deck has been out? Why are we reaching that stage where we need to murder decks How about you as a company, Konami, you can just design fair decks? How about you just make fair cards? How about you just design this game and make the game fair, so we don't reach this situation? If you make a good deck, don't make it have 4 different effects and... Am I asking too much? Like, is that really unrealistic to ask of Konami? Just don't make broken shit. Don't make broken stuff and we won't be in this situation. You won't have people like me being angry. You won't have a lot of the player base being extremely upset because of this. Like, no one is happy. Like, no one, literally nobody enjoys power creep. I know so many people I know have quit because of pendulums. So many people have quit over the years and said, like, you know, Teledad is when that shit started, you know, something started going a bit wrong there, you know, when Wind Ups and Thingy came out, Wind Up, Macro Rabbit, that kind of format, that's when the power creep started to get a little bit exponential, you know. That's kind of where Yu-Gi-Oh! Sort of, you know, that kind of border between the golden age and the perfect, like, sort of type of Yu-Gi-Oh! And then, like, you had the things got a little bit out of hand after that, and then you made freaking dragon rulers because someone at Konami was smoking I don't know what to make that deck. And that really begs the question of the overarching theme of why we're here in the first place. Why are we here? Why am I sitting here on YouTube in my room alone crying in the middle of the afternoon instead of doing my uni work? It's because I'm upset about the ban list. And I'm upset about the ban list because mostly the real question is, like I said, why don't we just stop drinking bleach in the first place? How about, instead of calling up doctors and going through all these operations and treatments and campaigns for stopping for curing bleach, how about we just don't drink it in the first place? How about you just make fair cards? I'm like, how did anyone think that cards like 6 cents was okay? How did anyone think Gateway was a good idea? How did anyone, like, come up with this stuff? How did you come up with this stuff? Like, who designs your game? And it's like, it's crazy because, like, you hit this many cards and then, like, you obviously knew this was gonna be broken. You knew it was a busted deck, you know, because you banned it 18 days later. You waited for your set to be sold out. You know, you made sure everyone bought your product, and then you hit it. Like, and the only new card you didn't hit was Monkey Board, which is interesting, you know. And Joker, sorry. Joker's actually not that new. Keyboard is the only new card, right? That's the only one you knew. It's interesting you hit the common, right? If this was a secret rare, I'm pretty sure Keyboard would still be at 3. Just saying. Now, I don't know if I'm right about that, but I feel like if Monkey Board was a secret rare, you guys would not have hit this. Now, anyway. Yeah. Like, I don't like ban lists because of that reason. Like, if a card is designed and it becomes so bad to the point that it needs to be put on a ban list, that should be setting off alarm bells at Konami's head office, and the R&D team should be kind of, you know, thinking for a second, maybe we shouldn't make this. Maybe this is a bad idea. Maybe, just maybe, we should not have cards in game that are plus, like, 5, you know. We shouldn't have that, you know. Like, who the hell thought that Super Rejuvenation was good? Who thought that, freaking, every busted Dragon Rule card, like 7 swords and the Dragon Rulers, and giving them like 3 different effects, like, oh my god, like, cards these days are essays, man. Look at this shit. I have like random commons from like the Monarch structure deck, right? Look at this shit. Look at Soul Exchange, right? Look at that. It's like 1 sentence. That's literally 1 sentence. Soul Exchange is 1 sentence. What? Why can't you just make cards like Soul Exchange? Why can't we do that? Why do we need essays on our cards, and then we have power creep to the point where the game just isn't playable? Like, you either win on turn... Like, when was the last time you heard anyone say mid-game or late game? When was the last time anyone said mid-game and late game? It's been so long. It's been so long. Do you know why? Because the game is over after turn 1 or turn 2. Like, do you know how many games I've lost on FarfaYGO Pro on stream, like, the last few nights? Because I've ran out of time. I've ran out of time on my turn because of how many combos and cards I was activating. Like, that's the level of this game. Turns are taking, like, 10 minutes to resolve one turn. We're doing, like, 50 steps in a turn. And the power creep is just through the roof. And this is why we get ban lists. This is why we get situations where cards get banned. This is why people like me lose a lot of money. This is why everyone gets upset. Nobody likes power creep, Konami. This is just a matter of fact. Nobody enjoys broken cards. Really, like, no one does. The majority of your player base are casuals who enjoy playing the themed decks. Hero players, Blackwing players. That's the majority of your player base. You know, people who play cards from the anime, people who play cards for fun, people who play cards because they look cool, etc., etc. You know, the best play that these people's decks can do is, like, resolve a black whirlwind, make a synchro monster. Do you know what I mean? This is the level of play that most people of your player base, of the vast majority of your player base, do. And for us, the competitive players, we don't enjoy it either, because we have to drop a bombshell on broken cards, and then, you know, we have to play in formats that we don't even really enjoy. Like, who really enjoyed the Pepe Mirror match? I mean, you make cards like Wavering Eyes and expect us to, like, like, you didn't even hit Wavering Eyes. You didn't even hit Wavering Eyes, you know? And we don't enjoy it because, like, we get to play, like, broken stuff, and then we get sacked by this card, sacked by that card, and, you know, I'm not saying Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a luck-based game. There's obviously a lot of luck based in it, but, I mean, you know, in the end, the better players should be winning most of the time, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, when power creep is through the roof, like, no one wants to lose turn 1, no one wants to lose turn 2, like, no one wants to call, like, turn 3 the late game. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the stage we're at, and, you know, the competitive players don't enjoy this, because we get shafted by luck a lot of the time, with things like Wavering Eyes. You know, why did you make such a broken card? How did anyone at Konami think that was a fair card? Who thought that, like, a non-targeted banish +2 that you can do again next turn was a good idea? Who thought that was a good idea? I want to know. Let me meet this person. Let me speak to their drug dealer. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, like, maybe it's just me, but I personally feel like the majority of your player base don't like power creep. How many times have you heard people go on and on DN when you play at low rating, when you first start grinding up, people are like, oh, pendulum noob, oh, meta sheep and stuff like that? How many people say that? The majority of your player base say this stuff. The majority of your player base call people, like, you know, competitive players meta sheep, etc., etc. Do you know why? Because the cards are so broken. The cards are so broken that people just don't like playing against it. Now, you could probably, obviously, you can say, like, well, they're casuals, you know, it's their fault, why don't they, like, play better decks, etc., etc. Like, in the end, they're the majority of Konami's player base, so they gotta take care of them, and it's like, well, why don't you make more cards that they like? And to be honest with you, the competitive players would probably enjoy it as well. I mean, a slow format is honestly probably really good. Like, I mean, competitive players tend to prefer tier 0 formats, but at the same time, tier 0 doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, we're finishing games in turn 1, and it's just, look at it this way, right? Why are you making a card that needs to be limited or semi-limited? Why not just make cards that you can play at 3, and that's it? Just every card can be played at 3. If a card is so broken, if a card is so good that it needs to be, like, hit to be less than 3, why is it made in the first place? Why did you make it in the first place? Surely the best thing that you can do is just not make cards that broken. Like look at Raigeki, for example, right? Why is that card at 1 and Dark Hole is at 2? What? Why not put Dark Hole at 3 and ban Raigeki? Why make one Saki card that, like, steals games? What is the need for that? Someone explain to me why one Raigeki is healthy for the game. Why is that okay? That is not okay. What, just put Dark Hole to 3. So there's a bit of a cost to it, you know. If I want to blow up my opponent's field, we're going to risk blowing up my own field. But why have Raigeki where there's no drawback whatsoever? No cost, no drawback, no consideration, just slam it on the field and go off, smash your dick in your opponent's head. Like, that's it. That's all Raigeki is. And it's Saki. It's a one-off. It's unsearchable. You can't counter it unless you want to play anti-Raigeki. But, I mean, no one does that because it's a one-off. You know, obviously it's only going to happen, like, you know, 3% of the time. But at the same time, it's like, what is the need for... How is that fun? No one enjoys that. Who enjoys that? Like, the casual players don't like being sacked. The competitive players really don't like being sacked. So why is Raigeki at 1? You know what I mean? And you're probably wondering, why are you complaining about Raigeki when we're like looking at performance and stuff? It's because that is really where the root of this problem is Konami making cards broken in the first place. Like Monkey Board. Like, how is this okay? Who made this card? Who thought a 1 card scale was healthy? Like, +1s in general are really, really like why like you ban, like Stratos is banned, guys. Like, hello, Konami? Like, Stratos is banned. And yet you let things like Skullcrabat, like, you made Skullcrabat? Like, why did you make Skullcrabat? Like, I think Skullcrabat isn't that bad, but Skullcrabat gets keyboard. Oh my god, keyboard, like, why? Why is this a card? This is so broken. It's so broken. Think about that. It's a 1 card scale. If you have a full extra deck and then you top deck keyboard, oh my god, that is insane. That is crazy. That is crazy. How did you come up with this shit? It's just beyond me. It's just beyond me. So what are my overall thoughts and opinions about the ban list? Well, like I said, I like banning Plushfire, banning Damage Juggler, limiting Keyboard. Like, in the end, these are symptoms of a bigger problem. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is the result of a greater problem. You know, they could have hit anything else, I probably wouldn't care. Like, I really, like, as for the specifics of hitting these cards, I really don't care. Like, but what I do care about is the overarching problem with why they've banned these cards in the first place. And like I said, I'm upset because why did you have to make these cards in the first place? Like, why did you even ban the Perform Mages? Like, Jesus, like, the Perform Mages weren't even the problem. Like, the Perform Mages have been around for ages, Konami. The Perform Mages have been here for a while. You know, they're hardly, like, broken. You know, it's this shit that's messed up. Keyboard, Crobat, like, that's the crazy cards. Like, that's the really broken ones. Like, Plushfire as well is, like, really... Plushfire sucks. Like, Plushfire actually really sucks. It's only good because of, like, Sorcerer. And, you know, you made Sorcerer, you didn't hit it. Obviously, you didn't hit it because, you know, it's the secret rare. You know, if Keyboard and Sorcerer were the other way around, I know for a fact Konami would have just, like, limited Sorcerer and they would have kept Keyboard at 3 if Sorcerer was a one-off. Secret. Common, rather. And there's, like, so much to say, like, the first paragraph of this is like, you, the duelists, have always told us that you like to have a wide variety of decks show up at your tournaments. Cool! So, Konami acknowledges the vast majority of player base doesn't like Tier 0 formats, doesn't like broken decks that dominate. Us, the players, like varied formats with multiple decks running around, doing their thing, competing, etc., right? And yet, here you are, someone at Konami's headquarters, R&D team, one day came into work with a crack pipe, smoked crystal fucking weed, and designed Keyboard. Someone in Konami did that. Someone in Konami one day walked into work and was like, you know what, I've had a bad day, let's make 6 cents. Someone at Konami one day came in after a long weekend with a hangover, with a calm down, with some weed in his pocket, laced in DMT, rolled that shit up, fucking dipped it in crystal meth, smoked it, went for lunch, came back, went on a big fucking trip, and then he went and decided to make Gateway. Like, that's what happened. Like, that is what happened. So, it's like you keep doing the same thing over and over. Like, this is the formula we fell into. Konami makes a broken deck. The players play said broken deck for a few months. Konami destroys said broken deck, releases new broken deck, even more broken than the predecessor. The only anomaly to that being Dragon Rulers, because nothing has managed to top Dragon Rulers. And then you make another deck that's broken. All the players play it in a almost like tier 0.5 format. We play it for months. We get so sick of the mirror match for like playing it for like 6 months. Like, I'm pretty sure you know by roundabout August time, most of the players were absolutely sick of Necros. We're just tired of Manju, Kaleido, Unicore, Overlay, Emerald, Draw 1, Valkyr Field, Pass Turn, Set, Shared Ride. You know, like we did that for 6-7 months. Okay, Konami, we are pretty bored now. Like, let us do something else. I mean, but that's the thing, right? So that's the formula we fall into. We do this shit for months. You Valk away your field. We maxi your Kaleidoscope. We do the same shit over and over for 6 months. You know what? Like, this is the thing, right? No matter how fun a deck is, if it's around for 8 months, it's not fun anymore, Konami. It's not fun anymore. So clearly we've established that really the majority of your player base doesn't like tier 0. A lot of competitive players will say they do enjoy tier 0. My question to them is simply, why don't you go fucking play chess? Like, why don't you just play chess? You want to play the same deck, you want to play the same list, you want to decide who's the best based on skill and stuff. You don't like variance, you don't like variety, you don't like siding for other stuff like that. You want to be able to deal with the mirror match. Just go play chess. You know what? You want an even playing field perfectly where both players have the same chance. Go play chess. That's besides the point, right? Where was I going with this? Yeah, so Konami makes a broken deck. We play it for a while. They break the deck. They murder it. Konami releases a new broken deck. We play it. They murder it. Konami releases a new... Why are we going in this cycle? Do you know what I mean? Konami says that, you know, they make their list based on how problematic things are. Okay, so why did you hit Shaddolls? Why did you hit Shaddolls? Shaddolls were at full power, and they were not the best deck. Shaddolls today, arguably, I don't know, we would have to test it, but I don't think Shaddolls would be able to compete with MM today. You know what I mean? I don't think Shaddolls would be able to compete against full power MM. But we'll never know, because Konami murdered it. Konami didn't just tap Shaddolls. Konami didn't just tap Cliffort. Konami didn't just tap Burning Abyss. They made it so that they became unplayable, and then they force us to play this deck. Which, okay, fine, you want us to play your new deck. Let's play your new deck, Konami. Let's play your new deck. I'll play your new deck. Cool. Let me just pay £200 for this deck. Cool, I've got my new deck. I'm set for the next foreseeable future until summertime. Round about then, you know, get myself another part-time job round about summer, start my next year of uni or whatever, go back to work. Cool. Let's have a new format. Let's play a new deck. Sure. Let's start over again. Murder the old deck. Let's go. But you didn't do that, did you? You did this. February 8th, 2016. Rippin' pepperoni. And that's all I gotta say, really. I mean, that's really, if you take away anything I have to say about this ban list, really all I can tell you about the ban list, like in conclusion, to summarize my argument, the actual hits themselves, personally, I'm really indifferent to. What I'm not indifferent to is the timing, how quickly you decided to do this, and of course the deep existential moral problem of why did you have to have a ban list in the first place, and why are you making cards so broken in the first place. That's the two main things I want you guys to take away from this. Stop making broken cards, and stop being so freaking unpredictable. Like, I swear to God, Konami's like a teenage girl. Like, just any point in time, you know, she's gonna explode, and she's gonna like ruin everything at one point, and then like we don't even know if this is gonna be in the next ban list. Like they said that we'll see how things go. Like, that's it. Are we going to get an adjusted list from now on in between F and L list? The answer is probably not. This is an extreme case, but we'll see how that. Okay, so we'll see. Do you know what I mean? Konami, when are we getting a new list? We'll see. We'll see. Okay. I've been talking long enough. I've been ranting long enough. I've told you my main argument, and that is, let's just stop making broken cards in the first place, Konami, and then more people will enjoy your game. Let's play other decks, you know? Why is Hornet at 1? Why is Sangan still banned? Why is Witch of the Black Forest still banned? These are all very good questions that I would like to pose to Konami, and, you know, hopefully the answer will probably be around, will probably not be along the lines of, well, we just want you to buy your new product. You don't even have to make broken cards to sell new product. Like, people don't. I don't think Konami realize how much people love their game. Like, people will buy your shit regardless of how broken or not broken the cards are. Honestly, as long as you make the cards fun and interesting, people will probably buy your deck, Konami. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just saying, try it. Just try it for one set. Who knows? It could work. Anyway, that's been me. Peace out. As usual. Thank you. Enjoy.